Welcome to R44 Performance. Behind me is our M3 Touring show car. This is something very special, but we're about to take it all apart and do it all again. All right, so let's run you through what this car is and why is it so important to everybody here at R44 Performance. This is our M3 Touring. It's the first M3 wagon in the world. So we bought this car in 2023 and we bought it and we actually had some more M3 Tourings at the workshop at the time. So we thought, what should we do with it? So what we did was we shipped it to the United States of America. The car was brand new. We didn't take any of the stickers off. It was in Brooklyn gray and the ride height was absolutely horrible. And then we had to modify it. We had to add the R44 touch. So in Miami, we had 4 days to wrap it. So we changed the color to khaki green by Nosatec, by Jake the Rapper and the whole team, which was amazing. We did an air ride suspension, a fresh set of Vossen wheels, and a full MHC carbon kit. That was the first of the modifications. We then spent 7 months modifying it all the way around the US. So we then stopped at Titan Motorsports for a full CSF cooling package. We then moved on to PSI Performance, or PSI over in Orlando as well. We did a titanium catback system, dustless brake pads, and then we started moving our way up the country. They're coming for us. They heard what we're about to do to this car. But anyways, we moved up towards the East Coast to New York, where we street raced it and we won $2,500, which was an amazing experience. We raced at MPAC. We attended all the BMW shows. We then did a full cross-country road trip across Route 66 to the West Coast. When we landed in the West Coast, we enjoyed the car there, attended a few events, and then we went crazy. SEMA 2023 was amazing. What we did was we put a full set of carbon barreled Vossen wheels. We put a fat single turbo running the 6870 precision turbo and just went ham. With everything we could do to this car, we did it. Actually, throw back a little bit, Dylan. We actually ripped the roof off over at IND. So we put a full alpha end roof on it. We put loads of touches such as the toe straps and just loads of little cool things from IND. Anyway, so we did all that cool stuff. And then we were in the West Coast. We attended SEMA. We turned it into something quite crazy. After that, we then put it on a plane. We flew it from, mate, something's popping off in Wembley. But this is, well, welcome to London. Anyways, so we flew it from California to London. We then went to Essen Motor Show in Germany. And then in 2024, we spent the whole year traveling around Europe. We did France, Germany, Poland again. We just went everywhere, which was amazing. But the poor car's seen a lot of driving. It's done almost 25,000 miles. It's on air ride suspension and it just needs that extra little bit of sauce. So in this episode and in the next couple episodes, we'll be transforming this car to the ultimate M3 Touring using the full R44 catalog and really dialing the car in. So yeah, let's get to it. Why KW V3s and what are KW V3s? So KW has 3 standard kind of variants before they go into like the V4 Club Sport variant of such. They have the V1s, V2s, which we sell. Do I recommend? Probably just say go for the V3s. Maybe if you've got like a G20 or something, maybe a V2s. We're not too sure if V2s and V1s are available for the G80 platform but for like a Fiesta ST that Reagan has, a V1's a great alternative for his, stock suspension. But we've got some KW V2s in for a G20. But anyways, there's V2s, but we've gone for the V3s. There's also the V4s, which are pretty good on this platform, but they're just a lot more money. So we're going to pair this up with the Suspension Secrets top mount. So they're going to go on top of the front up here. But let's run through the actual struts itself. 2 adjusters come on the V3s. You've got the bump at the bottom and the rebound at the top, which is quite cool. So you can do all the adjustment you need to really. I think there's like 16 or 18 clicks. So it's quite a good amount of adjustment. You can access them quite well. So you're going to put the normal top mount for the rear shock on the top, and you can adjust this by just jacking up the car and getting inside there. This one's a little bit harder. Realistically, you want to do it on the ramp, but gives you a nice little bit of adjustment. We're dialing and learning more and more about getting these dialed in for the street use. On track, you can obviously feel like the bump and stuff a lot easier because you're doing what is intended to. You're doing what needs to happen to then feel the changes, but driving to the corner shop or to the supermarket, it's very hard to really feel if the rebound and bump is set. in the right setting for that application. But anyways, that's it. Rear spring setup, very similar to like a Haas kit. You have the smaller spring, you've got a little collar, and you've got the main spring. The adjuster to get your ride height for the rear is right here, and it goes something like that, but it actually goes, I believe, the opposite way around. So it's going to be like something like this on your car. Like that. Talking about the front. Front's pretty cool. It looks something like this. You've got a nice adjuster there that's actually like a special plastic, so it means it's really simple to adjust. It's got the metal insert, so it's a really nice bit of kit, especially when it gets all grit in there, you're still able to adjust it. You got your top mounting. You've got the sensor, the position sensor, really important that you put that on. Suspension Secrets top mounts are going to go on top. Adjust your ride height here. Again, you've got a very small little Allen key hole for your rebound, and then you've got your bump on the bottom here, which can be adjusted, which is quite nice. So pretty simple, nice bit of kit. It's very nice install because you literally pull out the original, pop the new one in. And let's lastly go through kind of the little box that you get here. So install guide gives you some stock kind of suspension settings. It also gives you a, which is really cool actually, gives you a setup sheet, which we can use to kind of mark and put some details about the product and what the factory settings were when it left here. You've got the rebound adjuster for the front, which is a small Allen key bit on an adjuster, so you can do. Then you have this bad boy, which is your C-spanner to adjust the ride height. Realistically, you don't often need those. You can do them with your hand, and on the rear of a G80, it's easier to drop the arm, get your hand in there. Otherwise, if your car's quite low, you're able to pull this down a little bit and adjust it. So yeah, that's the KW V3s. The reason we opted for them, it just has a little bit of everything, and to be honest, value for money is a big part of this. The V3 setup out of the box drives really well, and it's really good value. So yeah, put them together, the car is going to be pretty good. All right, so a big question is, why are we going to remove the air ride? When you have the beauty of doing ride height that's like this, as well as absolutely slammed to the floor, it's quite nice, it's versatile, it allows us to go to any old terrain, it makes us look really cool, and it makes us get over big speed bumps. But we're going to get rid of it today. So I foresee it's going to be quite challenging exercise because I do not know the condition of our top mounts, anything. We don't know what anything's going to look like, because when we built this car, we built it in Florida over a 4-day span at a workshop that have never installed air ride to an M3, but they're air ride specialists. So they're able to have lathes on site, CNC machines on site to make some cool bits of kit to make this fit and last 2 years. So yeah, it's going to be a shame, but the main thing is the air ride's nice, but it's annoying. You get in the car and you have to get it right, and then you're not sure if the ride height's exactly what you want it to look like, and it's fun, but I've done it for 2 years. We're going to get away from it. We're going to make it ride really good. The ride height's going to be the same every time we touch the car. So yeah, that's it. So let's get involved. All right, let's talk through anti-roll bars. So we've changed the front and the rear anti-roll bars as well as the drop links on this car. The main reason that we kind of done it, we're obviously going to change the suspension. While we're doing that, we'll probably go a bit stiffer. So we're going to do a little bit stiffer on the anti-roll bars to try and stop the body roll on the M3 Touring. It's a big car, it's a lot of weight. Anti-roll bar, hopefully stop that roll. H&Rs have obviously dialed these in for this application. So I don't know a great deal, in all honesty, about like the real specifics and like how you would design this anti-roll bar for this application, but we kind of leave that to the brand. So that's the beauty of a lot of the products that we're using on this build. The brand itself has spent hours and hours developing it, but obviously that you've got to take into two things. So if KW made some anti-roll bars, you would more likely go for the anti-roll bar from KW that matches with the suspension. But yeah, we've opted for that, which is quite a cool little mod. So we've done that, and then the suspension secrets adjustable drop links, and that just allows us to, whenever we're trying to dial in this vehicle, we're able to get the anti-roll bars to be absolutely in that perfect position they want to be in. They're not being pushed down too much, they're not too high, etc. So yeah, that's the main reason. It's something that we do. We don't really recommend doing it if you're, just looking to just change your suspension to a coilover system. But if you're looking to go like full send, you really want to dial the car in, it's something we want to do. And we really want to get this car to that point where it's like, wow, is that really an M3 Touring? Little side plot twist. This little hole here is for a screamer pipe. So this car had a single turbo. When building this single turbo in 2023, this time in November 2023, for SEMA 2023, we had a screamer. The screamer came out right here. We put a brand new one of these on, but we didn't change this plastic because the budget was fully invested in this component. But we actually got our anti-roll bar and threw it in the bin somewhere in California, and we had no anti-roll bars and no drop links because we needed to make sure the screamer fitted. So we left that there. Fast forward almost 2 years now, and we needed an anti-roll bar. So instead of buying one from BMW for a crazy price, we opted for the H&R. So that mixed with the reason of trying to just dial in this car, we got anti-roll bars and drop links. All right, so let's run through the R44 Geo Pack and what's kind of included in it. We have put together what we believe is a really good cost-effective and result-driven product for you guys. So that includes a rear tow arm from Suspension Secrets. You can see we fitted it to this car. We've obviously fitted these KW V3s in there as well, but you can run like a Haas kit or just a normal lowering spring. Adding in this kind of Geo Pack gives you the ability to really get your car dialed while just running a lowering spring or a height adjustable lowering spring. And then even when you're running a full-on coilover, this is going to come in handy. So I do recommend going for like something like this. If you're looking at what you can spend a couple grand on, I'd go for like a Haas kit, lowering spring with a Geo Pack would be great. But anyways, back into it. So this is the rear tow arm. This allows you to adjust the rear toe, which is really important to dial in some grip. This kit, this one has been fitted with the lockout kit, which is this little bad boy inside here. This prevents any of the original OEM toe adjustment, because normally you have like an egg-shaped bolt that you can turn, and that does a small bit of toe adjustment, whereas this, you can literally send the wheel out that way and bring it all the way back in. So rear arms, lockout kit fitted. We've got some suspension, again, the same on here. As you move to the front of the car, the Geo Pack includes a front control arm bushing, which is tucked in there. We've gone for just the standard location, there's two options for a G80 owner. If you're an F-Series owner, you just have one, but on a G80, you have an off-centered caster bush, which is quite cool, which we run on more like track-focused builds. But for something like this, which is the ultimate daily driver, we've gone for just a normal location, front control arm bushing that's solid with some rubber gaskets on it to make sure it weathers quite nicely. So that's pretty much it from the underside. We'll get this car down and look at the top mounts, which I think is one of the most important pieces of a kind of suspension setup, just dialing in some camber, because camber makes such a big difference to the drivability. But quickly, control arm bushings, when you're under pressure, under braking, the front wheels can move quite a lot with the standard bush. This kind of dials it out and it keeps the wheels in the same position, which means the geo that you've set up on the alignment rack will be similar to what your car is going to have when it's going into a corner at high speed. right, so the kind of last piece of the Geo Pack combo thing are the top mounts. So these are fully adjustable top mounts. They actually have preset caster adjustment, which has already been dialed into them, if I remember correctly, which I'm pretty sure it does. So they're slightly adjusted on the caster, but primarily you can adjust the camber. There's, I think, 3 or 4 settings. So there's like a road going, fast road, full track setting, which is super nice. 2 fittings. One fitting allows the top mount to be kind of held in its position and not move. The other one's a bit more sliding, but primarily it gives you ability to add some camber to your car. So you can have a look at this car. We've gone full all out on the camber just to start there, and then we're going to work back because we do want this to be, as I keep mentioning, the ultimate daily driver. So yeah, top mounts are in there. When you buy them, you just got to specify what suspension strut you have. If you have like an Öhlins, you need a special nut that is the same thread as the Öhlins, whereas KW and I think OEM is pretty similar. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You've obviously got the KWs tucked in there, which we'll talk about and we may have already talking about. So yeah, that's it. That's the Geo Pack, but we highly recommend it. It's probably what I believe is one of the first mods that you should put on any car. We've done it on that M3 behind you, and we've also done it on this beautiful M3 that's currently going through some ceramic brake installation. So yeah, some cool bits.
Hi guys, I'm Gio Baluk and we've got the R44 Performance's G81 M3 Touring on the ramp. It was on air ride and it had a big single turbo before, but now these guys will want to take it to track, so they've gone for KW V3s and they've removed the big single turbo, gone for twins, and they've also done front and rear anti-roll bars, uni-balls, suspension secret top mount, suspension secret arms at the back. The alignment was messed up. We've managed to dial it in the best we can. They're going to have to drive it, settle in all the suspension and the arms, and then bring it back for its final check and tweak, and it's ready for the track.
All right, let's talk about brakes. So this car is actually already equipped with a full EBC brake kit, which is inclusive of the floating discs, front and rear, and the RPX front pads and the Blue Stuff rear pads. And they're working well. We're not gonna change them. We did a change, I think, early on this year when the car went over to Europe. But one thing that we've not done on this vehicle is a fluid change and a brake line change. As we keep mentioning, and we'll keep mentioning, the ultimate daily, we want to absolutely kill the brakes on the B roads. So we need to have some more stability for the fluid to go through and some better quality fluid that doesn't allow it to boil. So yeah, I guess let's start with the braided lines. So these are Hell lines. These are what we offer on the website. Obviously there's so many options for braided lines on the market, but primarily Hell have been selling brake lines for years. They sell so many great components that are like AN fittings, etc. So the quality of the actual fittings are great. The lines themselves are really nice. R44 Performance always offer the transparent clear in stock. If you want like blue, orange, gold, whatever color, you can order them, but be prepared to wait a little bit, because what we do is we put them into production with Hell and then they come in when they come in. Whereas the transparent, we order loads of them to keep them in stock. Loads of them for you. Anyways, yeah, so these are the lines, these are the rears. Pretty much what you're going to get with brake lines is stability when the brakes are extremely hot and under a lot of pressure. If you boil the fluid and it's boiling hot fluid going through a rubber line, the line's going to want to expand and bubble, which in worst case scenarios can then lead to brake failure, and that's not what we want. Hell lines should resolve all of that with that lovely braiding. So you're pretty much going to go from like a copper line from the brake reservoir all the way down into the wheel arch, and then go into these, into the caliper. So all going well, everything should be 10-10. So that's brake lines, super clean. And then fluid. There's a fair few options for fluid on our website. We use Motul fluid for all of the vehicle fluids on our cars, just because it's good value for money and it's really good performing. This is 660. This is there like 70% in the grade of everything. It's not motorsports like crazy stuff, but it's good all rounder. And I think it's only like £15 a bottle, so you're dropping £30 for, you know, a brake flush, which I think's great value. We offer some really high value brake fluids for about £100 a bottle. But anyways, we're going to put that in and we're going to flush the old BMW stuff out and then do a full flush. I recommend probably buying about 2 litres maybe, just so you have enough to flush it all through, enough to fill up your reservoir, and enough to just have for the future. And yeah, that's it. So we're going to get that done. That should give us a nice ultimate kind of braking solution. If you do want to grab, you know, upgraded brakes, R44 Performance has all of the brake pads available, as well as when you're upgrading your brakes, make sure you use OEM brake wear sensors, and all of the amazing screws on the brakes themselves. So you've got all the caliper fittings, the brake disc fittings. We all have them all on the R44 website. So make sure when you're shopping for brakes and stuff, do your upgrades correctly. Make sure you replace all your bolts, because some of them are stretch bolts, and when you put a stretch bolt in the second time, technically it should come back out, and that's not fun when you're going very fast around the neighborhood. Wow, so we are on the back roads around the Nordschleife, so the Nürburgring. We came out here because normally we obviously fit some suspension, drive it around the warehouse, and we go, wow, that was the most amazing suspension we've ever fitted. But this time we wanted to do things a bit differently, and our M3 Touring deserves it. This car has been all the way around the world, and it is, oh, left hand, let's go left. It's, yeah, iconic car. So suspension wise, we've done the KW V3s paired up with a set of Suspension Secrets top mounts. They've actually been maxed out because we're trying to get the car to just feel really good around a corner, but not too darty in the middle. So we've gone crazy on the camber at the moment, which we'll go into a bit more detail later probably. But just to do the rear toe arm, so that allows us to add a little bit of adjustment on the toe. We can obviously do the toe on the front thanks to the kind of stock arms, and then we've done front control arm bushes, but just the normal ones that are solid, not the off-centered caster ones, just because we're trying to keep this very OEM plus day to day. We put a set of the top kind of spec H&R anti-roll bars, so the thicker ones, as well as adjustable drop links. Because we're lowering the car so low, we need to be able to adjust the drop links to pair up nicely with the anti-roll bars. So that's a little bit about suspension, but we're out here on these beautiful B roads. Yeah, just warming up the car, feeling it. It is ready. Look at it, it just wants to roll. But let's have a little bit of fun. So why did I choose KW V3s? One is I've used KW V3s probably for 5 years across different cars, whether it be an M2. We've installed many on customers' cars, whether it be a G82 or a G80, and then we've recently installed a set of these on a customer's G81 M3, and we've driven them and they've just been out the box fantastic. They're not too crazy in terms of money and performance and adjustment. They're just perfect. You need some camber plates. You can buy a Club Sport spec, so they come with KW camber plates on the top, but we stock the Suspension Secrets ones and have used them on a fair amount of cars, so we thought we'd pop those on. So that's kind of the combo on the suspension. There's obviously V1s and V2s. If you're going to spend the money, just take a little bit longer to save up that money. Go with the V3s, and that way you can adjust a few more parameters of the vehicle, like rebound and stuff, and then you can keep them on the car for a long time pretty much. And then a few other little bits and bobs that we've added, there's no point you investing in the suspension of your car but not able to kind of dial it in. So Geo's an important thing. We're very grateful that we have Luke from Geo by Luke about 20 minutes away, and we've got a really strong working relationship. So if we don't like the car, we can go back and he can tell us what he advises to change to kind of improve it. Because you got to remember, especially when you're investing this much money into suspension, when we install it or your local garage installs it, I wouldn't suspect it's going to be perfect. You want to drive it, improve it, go back, improve it, and just keep working on it. It might take 6 months until you feel the car is exactly where you want it to be. And of course, we came from air ride suspension, which is pretty intense. So we had the air ride gave us static, we could drop it all the way down, or we could drive the car at the most perfect ride height we'd ever dream of, choosing the right coilover. We wanted something that has enough adjustment that we can lower the car, because we're currently running a 19 front wheel and a 19 rear wheel. So we wanted to just tuck those tires, and we don't want any noises. And you can hear, the weight transfer, there's no noises coming from the car. That's a cool car. Now let's touch on something else other than suspension: brakes. If you're a follower of this car, it's been on the channel for 2 years, I believe. So 2 years, actually recently in June, we probably started this kind of project 2 years ago. Anyways, we had dustless pads. So this meant, you know that brake dust that you guys have as a G80 owner and you absolutely hate it? There is a solution on the market. It's a dustless pad. We ran them when we ran the kind of very high polished Vossen wheels, which was really nice. It meant that the wheels were never dirty and it worked well. But now we're on to like the ultimate car. I want to be able to take it on the track day. I want to take it on Sunday drives with my friends, as well as I want to drive it to work every single day. So we went for the same brake discs. So we've had the same brake discs on this car for 2 years and done 27,000 miles or something like that, 23,000 or whatever, which has been great. And then we changed to an EBC RPX on the front and an EBC blue stuff on the rear. They're going to make a lot of noise if you don't use them very often. So if you don't like put them through big heat cycles, they will make a lot of noise. So don't choose them if you don't want noise, but they're really good for day-to-day driving and the odd track day. If you want to do a full track day, change to something crazy, like an RSL 29 or a more racy EBC, because you will need that extra bit of braking. And then we've done a set of Hell brake lines in transparent clear, something that we always have in stock at R44, and then just some Motul 660 fluid, because this car's done that 20-something thousand miles. The fluid probably been baked a few times, so we flushed that out, went fresh, and yeah, it's just the perfect muck. You're not going to, putting brake lines and fluid is not going to make any difference to your brakes day to day, but you will see the difference the second you do 4 laps on the track. All of a sudden you will be able to just stay on the track and you won't have any issues. We've gone okay on the brakes, nothing OTT, but still an RPX is we can hear them. If you don't like that, don't buy RPXs and don't come crying to us that it makes noise. It's a race pad. It is not meant for the road. This episode is now over. It's been quite an exciting one. We've done quite a lot. We've obviously done all the suspension, all the braking, and we've done a bit of driving. We haven't gone into crazy amount of detail on how it drives. We are going to make you guys tune in for probably the second to third episode of this series, where we've tuned the car, we've dialed it in, and then we finally go through the full living with this car. But yeah, it looks amazing with the M4 CS headlights, the Vossen wheels all dialed in now, the ride height. I think maybe bring it up a little bit, add some spacers or something, and dial in the camber, but there's still a lot to be done. We still need to do a lot more miles. We need to let the car settle even more and keep dialing it. So more time spent with Luke, more time spent just driving it day to day to make it that ultimate car. It is not possible to build the car to be the perfect car in this short amount of time. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Check out the next episode where we go to Tom Wrigley Performance. We tune the car again. We really dial in that stage 2 plus, so we can start going on to the likes of Carwow and racing some cars on the drag strip coming into the new season. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Check out the next video, and if you have a car like this, hit us up. We're looking for cars to modify, so hit up our sales team, whether you're in the US or in the UK. We'll be here to help you.